fact we will be liable because people will ask you who supplied the alcohol. So then we said that this is not the answer. And then after that we developed this lantern which is produces light equivalent to a 100 watt bulb. Then we developed an answer in which there is a tank. This tank is just like an LPG cylinder. It comes pressurized from the factory with this alcohol. The person puts it through the valve, just like the LPG factory, opens the valve and you light it. And the interesting part was that when we did this, we said that the majority of the energy is going out as heat because this is a lantern which is running on the mantle concept. So we should utilize that heat. So we developed a very high-tech stove which cooks the complete meal for a family of 5. 2 sabzis, dal and chawal in 1.5 hours. So you continue getting light, at the same time you will have complete cooking. And in this cooking takes place in 1 hour, and after 1 hour, what you still have time, because you require 4 hours of light, you can put in 5 liters of water and it boils water in 45 minutes. So the one single device gives you cooking, light and completely clean water. This is a revolutionary technology. We got the very major award, 2009 Globe Award, by the Queen of Sweden, the same person who gives the Nobel Prize. In fact, it was done in a very massive ceremony, and there were other people who were very major actors from America, etc. But we were the first NGO to get that. Now, everything is funny, interesting. We have tested this in 25-30 laborers' houses. They love it. The cost is approximately 1,000 rupees per day, running cost. The cylinder will be owned by the factory and etc.
1,000 rupees per year?
No, per month. Sorry, per month. When a person uses chula and kerosene, he consumes 500 rupees per month. So this is around twice the cost of the chula and the. Now, after we showed this, after we took it to 20-25 households, the woman loved it. My biggest problem is excise, because I cannot use this alcohol because there is a very stringent excise power on that. And so we are trying now to take this to around 50 households under very controlled conditions. Excise people have told me that each person for producing syrup from our sweet sorghum. We sell a lot of the sweet sorghum syrup produced like that. It's in fact, we wanted this gasifier to be utilized for power generation, and we still have not been able to clean the gas. So this is something which is still a question mark. Then we also did work in environmentally sound transport, basically developing electric cycle rickshaw, and we modified the cycle rickshaw into a very efficient and then converted it into an electric rickshaw so that the person is held by the motor. And then in developing this, we developed handicapped rickshaws, which is equivalent to what you get for 2 to 2.5 lakh rupees from the United States. This is around 60,000. So these are some of the things that keeps us a little busy. And we try to, our major problem is that we are not able to sell some of these technologies because people in India are not very aware of intellectual property and buying the patents. So this is something which we have literally failed. Now I'll come to my last talk, my last section. How to help rural areas. I believe that the corporate world should be directly involved in rural development. They have the managerial and other resources. And unless and until they become really an equal partner, I don't think that too much of rural areas will benefit. I am very happy to also tell you that there are large corporate people who have also realized that. They are getting into it. What I am talking about is the energy areas in which they should be involved. And the small scale energy, high technology energy systems should be utilized by them in spreading this message. It could be a model of joint stock company because, the government of India is very remarkable in the sense that they all the time talk about Panchayati Raj. In fact, if you remember, the whole Rajiv Gandhi Vidyutikaran Yojana, in which all non-electrified villages are supposed to be electrified by this new system, is supposed to be done by Panchayati Raj. Now, having lived in rural areas, I can tell you that panchayats are not able to, I will use a very crude term, they don't even know how to wash their bottoms. How can they run their power plants? Power plant running is not an easy subject. It has to be run by professionals, and the only way it can happen is when corporate world gets into the act. So it has to be a joint stock company, no cooperatives, because cooperatives, as you know, has created a lot of problems, a lot of politics and etc. It has to be joint stock company. The corporates have to be involved as equal partners, and then only it will take place. In energy production via renewables is a taluka-based systems that we pioneered. The government of India ran for quite a number of years, for 10 to 20 megawatt capacity, small capacity, and utilities for liquid fuels and gaseous fuels. In fact, I do see in future, just like your LPG comes, so liquid fuels will come by these companies in just in cylinder form. And ultimately the water utilities in a village using rainwater harvesting and supply for both irrigation and houses. So this is an area which the corporate world can get into it, and as I showed, it's a 2,000 billion rupees industry per year. The corporate world involvement has to be little on a different scale. They should need to look beyond business and financial gains only. They still should make money, but their margins should be reduced. After all, it's a very huge industry which is still there to be tapped. They should make money but reduce margins for rural work. In this era of enhanced communication, creation of rural wealth is an interest of corporate India. Without rural India becoming better, corporate India will not survive. And I am very sure of that. And I think that the sooner the corporate world realizes, the better it is. Because 60% of people, when this huge mass, today it is not happening but it will happen, this huge mass will rise in revolt or in because of the communication, then nobody will be happy with anything. So it's in their interest to be a part and parcel of improving their quality of life. Need for corporate world and the NGOs to work together for common good. And we are setting up a center in our institute. It's called as the Center for Sustainable Development, where we are going to get the corporates and the NGOs, and the main purpose of this center is to sensitize them about rural problems and to talk about our technologies and to talk about all the technologies available in the world which can be applied in rural areas, and to make them aware that these are the things which are possible. Technologies developed by science NGOs can be commercialized by the corporate world. And how do we get involved? The captains of corporate world need to reduce their consumptive lifestyle. You know, as I said, for people in rural areas, what happens in urban areas is a role model. I have never seen a single advertisement in which a person doing farming is glamorized. The moment you talk about people working, you show it on the computer, somebody typing, somebody sitting in a air-conditioned houses. The large number of farmers and the large number of young people whose family is into farming, they do not want to do anything to do with farming. When I ask them why you don't want to go for farming, first of all they say that there's not enough money, and secondly they say we can't get good wives. It's a very major issue, because nobody would like to give their daughters to the farmer's family. It's a very major, this is something which you can laugh, but it's a very major issue for some of these people. And why? Because it is not glamorized. I do dream that if I have a very fancy tractor, combined harvester, air-conditioned cabin, in which a farmer sits inside, I'm sure it will glamorize the whole farming. And this is where the technology comes in. I also feel that there is a great need for the captains of the industry and for the urban people to also create advertisements and etc. to glamorize some of these issues, so that people who are already in the rural areas need not come to urban areas for employment and other things, but should stay in rural areas. I have shown from my own example, I have done this for the last 4 or 5 years, a very detailed thing about how much energy do I consume. And actually you can do that if you reduce, you become zero like me. I have no interest, I live very simply, I have very few clothes, and if you do that, you can live a very decent lifestyle connected to the rest of the world in 50 to 70 gigajoules per person per year.